Remember how people used to say, when you get a new cartridge, it's like you have a whole new record collection. This has kind of been happening to me lately. The last video I made was for a classical label. And I was trying to downsize a bit. And I know this label had like a lot of reissues. And I pulled them out to try to gain some space. And then I ended up playing them. And I hadn't heard them in a few years. Certainly not since I had upgraded my system. And I was very impressed with what I heard. It was a different level of what I heard before. And I thought about that statement, once you change something in your system, it's like you have a whole new collection, especially a cartridge and a front end. You can always read what I'm listening on in the description box. It's always updated every video. And you can watch some of my system updates if you wish to kind of see everything that I listen on. But I decided to take a look at the MOFI One Steps. As I said, I was trying to gain some real estate here. And in my listening room, things are getting out of control as far as records. And I have to make some choices. And I thought about the One Steps and how 7 albums take up a foot of space. And I looked at them and I said, you know what? Maybe it would be interesting to do a video on this. Because it's been a couple of years at least since I reviewed any of the One Steps, and many of them I didn't even talk about. So I'm talking about the MOFI One Steps. A lot of you probably were upset about MOFI's revelation that they weren't all analog. I was kind of upset too, but I wasn't upset to the point where I said, I'm going to let go of the records. I ended up keeping all mine. I know a lot of people sent them back in protest and got their money back, and that's well and good. But I really thought that a few of them were really special. So I kept mine. Now, I'm going to just go through 7 today and give you a brief idea of what I thought about it today. And we'll do another 7 next time. I'd like to ask you all to, well, number 1, subscribe. But if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. But also to hit the like button for this video, because I want to know how many people really want to see the second episode. And I promise, if there's enough likes and enough comments, I will do something that I've been resisting doing. And that is to open my one sealed One Step. And that is this one. I talked about it before. Sunday at the Village Vanguard. Don't shoot me. There's a reason. At the time I got it, I had the OJC. I loved the OJC. And the value just kept going up and up and up, and particularly for a sealed copy. So I just kind of let it sit and forgot about it. But I'm dying to hear it. So if there's enough interest in this and enough likes, I will open the sealed One Step at the end of the second episode, and I'll listen to it and I'll let you know what I think. The first one is one of my favorites. It was my favorite then, and it's one of my favorites now. It's Donald Fagen's The Nightfly. This one really impressed me. I want to say something here. This is not a shootout. This is not a shootout. I am just doing this exercise to take each one on its own merits and see if I still enjoy it as much as I thought. And or if one that I thought was marginal is improved. So I'm not doing comparisons. I've done a few of those, and you can watch my previous videos to see some of the later ones that I did comparisons for. I've heard the RL of this, of course. This one is spectacular. I think it's wonderful. Really, this production lends itself to this. It was a digital recording, ironically, and we knew that going into this. but we still all love this one. And it has a big, vibrant sound that just leaps out of the speakers. It's so much fun. I listen to one side of each of these just to make this a bit more efficient. And I got to say that I love the side with the Goodbye Look and Walk Between the Raindrops. That is amazing. It has such a groove, wonderful bass, really wideband sound, wraparound sound too. Donald Fagen sounds great on this. This doesn't have a hint of digital glare at all. I think they did a wonderful job with it. I'm not going to say anything about the RL, but the RL is excellent. That's all I'll say about it. But this, taken on its own terms, was wonderful. I thought it was great, and I will never let go of that one. The second one, I didn't review. It's Simon & Garfunkel's Bridge Over Troubled Water. It has moments of incredible beauty, but the recording is somewhat variable, shall we say. It has a few flaws here and there. And that's one of the things about the One Step series is it magnifies everything. So a superb recording like the Nightfly really expands, and something that has issues, an older 70s rock recording, and they've done several of those. Sometimes it just shows off what's wrong with the recording and glaring detail. I didn't find that to be the case here, but the few spots where there is an issue, they do show up in a little more clarity, shall we say. But there's no doubting that the side I listened to, Bridge Over Troubled Water and El Condor Pasa, sounded good. The production on the first track, Bridge Over Troubled Water, the beautiful moments are the quiet moments, the piano and Art Garfunkel's gorgeous voice. It's set in space. It's beautiful. It's just lovely. It's just like you'd want to hear it. The climax at the end has always been a little troublesome. My cartridge today can handle it. And it actually sounded a little better than I remember the first time I heard it. First time I heard it was on the Basis 1400 with, I think, the Hana SL. So this sounded much better than my first time around with it. And even though the recording's variable, I thought it was worth keeping. So I will be keeping that one for sure. Another keeper is this one. This is Bob Dylan's Blood on the Tracks. When this came out, most people declared it to be the winner of any shootout. I didn't do any shootouts. I didn't review it. I have absolutely loved it since I've had it. I listened to the first side just for this evaluation. Tangled Up in Blue and Simple Twist of Fate. Incredible. Incredible dynamics, detail, tonality, warmth, bass, and an enveloping sound. Wonderful. I loved it. Yeah, I would never let go of this one either. This one's wonderful. On the other end of the scale, I reviewed this one, actually. I reviewed it against some other contenders. And I've got to say, I still don't like this one. There's something about this that's just missing something. It's missing the soul of this music. Granted, this is a suite, and it's cut up on 4 sides. So that's one issue, of course. But the other issue is an EQ on the voice that just sounds unnatural to me. The whole record feels pulled apart, and the flaws in the way it was put, well, the process in which it was put together come across as flaws. So it reveals a little too much. It misses the soul of the music, I think. It's okay for people that want to look at it forensically, I suppose, but it's never been a favorite of mine, and it still did not move me the way I know the best copies of this record can. So that one I could easily let go of. The next three are jazz. And I think they did a better job with the jazz titles in general. Now, this is one thing to think about. I mean, the jazz titles compared to 70s rock recordings, the jazz titles are just recorded better, and they come out better with the one-step treatment. I also feel like they didn't toy around with the EQ too much on these. They already sound good. You just have to put it on a quiet surface and master it well without overemphasizing anything, just bringing out subtleties, and you'll have a winner. So this is the Bill Evans Trio, Portrait in Jazz. I loved it. I thought it sounded very natural, and enjoyed it on its own terms. I've never done a comparison of this. This is the only pressing I have at the moment. I used to have an old OJC, which I liked too, but I think from my memory, this sounds better in many ways. I loved it. This is one that's always going to stay in my collection. I'm glad that I didn't make that rash decision to dump all of the One Steps, and that's one reason, that Bill Evans box. This is another reason. This one got rave reviews when it came out. Even after people knew it was digital, they still loved it, and I can see why. It sounds wonderful. It's really, really good. This is one of the best One Steps that they did, I think. Mingus Ahum. I have a classic 45, and I love that too. But I really have always enjoyed each time I played this. It's big, it's vibrant, it has wonderful drum sound, a wonderful infectious feel to it that it's such a pleasure. It's such a pleasure to hear this. It hasn't been toyed with too much. I think it maybe has been subtly enhanced here and there. Sometimes I thought it was a little brash, a little bright, but I came to realize that that's the way this recording is. And it's fabulous. I think this is a great one. And last is another jazz one. This one, Monk's Dream, by Thelonious Monk. I hadn't gotten this on its initial release. I had an extra copy of Bridge Over Troubled Water. At the time, I was like speculating, I guess, and I bought two. And I kept one. But you know what? I'm glad I did, because I was able to trade it with another collector who had two of these. And that's when both were out of print. So I was really glad to get this, and I wasn't disappointed whatsoever. I think this is wonderful. It sounds so good. Very natural, again, just like the other two jazz records. Really, I feel like they did a wonderful job on this one. I wouldn't trade this for the world. So those are the 7 first ones. When we get into the 7 second ones, with the exception possibly of this, which we will hear at the end, things get a little more concerning. They were using some famous recordings that are famously bad in sound quality. So they had to fight against that. And when they do that, they have to use more EQ and everything to do what they think has to be done to make them sound better. And it ends up, quite a mess. So I'll be very curious to hear things like Tapestry, CSN, and others. I have several others. So I'll surprise you with those titles. But if you liked this video and you like the idea of this video, please give me a thumbs up, hit the like button, and subscribe. That way you'll be sure to get any new content that comes up, and you won't miss episode 2, where I finally get to listen to Sunday at the Village Vanguard. So thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I'm Scott for the Pressing Matters. Have a great day.